So, what is my research about? My research is the benefits of motor imagery on upper limb strength. So, the whole premise of this is really the idea of neuroplasticity, and it is the idea that you can, in fact, strengthen muscles or regain movement in a limb through visualization, but it's not just that you're imagining it. You're recruiting essentially your nervous system, creating an environment where you are firing these neurons. Even though nothing feels like it is physically happening, there is still electrical impulses and nerves that are firing within that limb. Similar to, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of phantom limb theory. If you haven't, look into it. It is very interesting. But essentially, the premise is that you have amputees that no longer have, say, their arm, but they still feel pain in that arm. And again, how do we relieve pain in a limb that literally does not exist anymore? And it is very fascinating work. In that study, what they did was that they would have the patient, here's my limb, and then here's the one that I have no arm. They would place a mirror right here, so that way you could reflect and the brain would visualize as if you could still see both sides. Like, makes me emotional talking about it. It's just because it's so powerful. Basically, you place the mirror right at the center. They would ask the patient to move this arm, and so here's the mirror and here's their arm, and they're basically able to feel the release on the other side through releasing the side where they do have the limb. And it's just fascinating research. This research was done on stroke patients. So, say for example, you have an injured shoulder, go get surgery on it, and then what do? Then you go to physical therapy. And then from there, we rehab your shoulder. So, in the event of patients that have stroke, sometimes you don't have any mobility. So, how do you regain movement in a limb that you can't move at all? Great question. So, this study was basically done on stroke patients where they couldn't move the limb that was getting rehabbed. Researchers were essentially doing mental repetitions, or in this case, the term would be motor imagery. You are visualizing yourself completing the rep, like say it's a bicep curl or a rear delt pull or a shoulder fly. You're essentially trying to create that motion in your mind without actually doing it because you can't move it. The research turns out that you can, in fact, regain or train a muscle that you don't have any movement in. And so I took this research and I wanted to see, can I apply this to a group of men that do not have any injuries and that do have movement and mobility in their limb? I knew that if these studies showed these findings, but there was a very strong probability that I could increase my muscle strength. Instead of just scrolling through your phone during your rest periods between your sets, I was like, what happens if during that rest period, we have them do mental repetitions? And Lord and behold, I was right. I read a very specific script I wrote myself. My mic and my dogs ruined most of this video, but my control group ended up lifting even less weight than at the beginning of the test, whereas my experimental group was able to increase their maximum voluntary contraction, or their 1 rep max in bench press, by almost 20 pounds on average, which is absolutely insane amount of strength increase using motor imagery, or what you call visualization. So, whether it's strength, stress, weight, and even pain, it all starts with your nervous system and your brain. Whether you're looking to learn to regulate your nervous system to get out of survival mode, or to train your nervous system to enhance your body and your performance, you're in the right place. Just imagine what you will be able to accomplish when you learn how to work with your nervous system. I'll see you for part 2. If you want to go deeper, my full research is in my bio. And if you want to start training your nervous system in your daily life, tap or click the link in my bio and purchase my framework. See you next time.